Delighted to now be joined by Ant, Jamie and team boss Toto Wolff. Congratulations. Fantastic result there for George. Just how important was that for him, for morale, for his championship chances, for everything?
Yeah, very good. Since Q3 yesterday until now, perfect execution. He was quick, managed the tires well, cold-blooded. Really happy for him.
And Toto, what did he have to work on though? Because he didn't start the week on the Friday as fast as his teammate Kimi. He had to really work at it. Where did that come from?
He knows that he can drive fast, and sometimes you just have to put one and one together. Maybe ease off on yourself a little bit.
Just drive?
Just drive. Just drive. It's never good when you guys, racing drivers, think too much. You're really good at driving, but the thinking part, leave it to the people in the garage.
Perfect management from you. Just try. Yes. Keep it simple.
I feel like it would have been hard not to think with Max coming at him so quickly. How stressful was that behind the cockpit? How much was George managing, or was he actually a big threat today?
So I think also in that instance, less thinking is better. Because we said the best race is the quickest race. Don't manage. Make sure that you're not killing the rears, but we are doing this by pushing the fronts, and that's what he did, not thinking too much about strategy, not thinking about too much what's the gap behind, but just go extract the maximum out of the car. That's what he did.
Talking of gap behind, Kimi Antonelli was really pushing Max Verstappen right to the bitter end there, just 0.3 off the Dutchman. I mean, it was fantastic racing to see that the top three separated by under 2 seconds. How proud are you of Kimi today?
Yeah, very. I think he was very eager at the beginning to get the victory done in the first couple of laps, and that cost him dearly. But I like the enthusiasm, and he just goes for it. Up the hill there, throws the anchor probably 30 meters too late, and the same thing down here, and that's how it should be. We said it before. We want the driver to be
problems.
Yeah, very relieved. I mean, so much credit to the engine guys. They have put in so much effort over the last weeks in order to get the reliability under control. And obviously, that's never a finished topic. That needs to continue, and we need to stay on top of it. But that's why also Aaron was on the podium today. He's George's engine guy, and it's a great HPP between HPP and MGP. There's such a great culture, such a great mindset and collaboration.
And the other big topic alongside reliability was Ferrari's new power unit here. Are you a bit relieved to see them not quite as competitive as we might have thought they'd be?
I don't know. I mean, I heard that they were overheating a little bit. But yeah, they didn't look at all like they looked in Barcelona last week. I'm not sure why.
Next up, home race. Can you wait for Silverstone? I mean, it will be exciting.
I'm out of here to Oxford as soon as I'm done with you guys.
Oh, well, listen, we won't keep you any longer then. Let's let them go. Congratulations. Bye. We'll see you at Silverstone. Fantastic stuff. It's good to see him smiling. Okay, Ted is with Laurent Mekies.
Laurent, can we just have a quick word? I'm sure we'll talk about the upgrades, but it was quite nail-biting at the end with Kimi, but that has secured your best result of the year.
Yeah, it is. I think the most satisfying element is the pace. For the first time this season, we have the pace to be very, very close to have enough to win. Big credit to everyone back in Milton Keynes. It's something very that happens very often, that you can sell more than 1 second of pace delta in a few races, and the season is still very long. We know we will know, because we know competition will also continue to bring updates. But certainly it's very impressive that we are now within the last tenths of what is needed to be on the top step of the podium.
Okay, thanks for joining us on the pit wall. You said that you were chasing the win. Maybe had you undercut George in the last stops, might you have got the win? Was it possible today, or do you think the ultimate pace was just not?
It's something we will review, of course. I think it's probably fair to say that Kimi was probably the fastest guy out there, and perhaps Max was, in fairness, a tiny bit faster than George and just behind Kimi. But starting positions do matter, and we pay a little bit, having started a little bit further away from the top spot yesterday. But it's anyway a move in the right direction for the whole team.
Thanks very much. Second in your home race here. Another home race in Silverstone next time. Thank you.
Well, that was Max's 9th podium at this race, at this track, and his best result for him and the team all year. And we saw a moment actually with Laura Mekis and Raymond, Max's manager, a great moment, because it feels like this was significant in terms of his future, just how important was the pace that he was able to find today.
It's important because he's motivated by success. There was a quote one of our colleagues was telling us earlier in the week. Raymond said about how Max isn't here to race in the midfield. You know, he sees RedBull as family, but it's not what he wants to be doing, racing in the midfield. So today is important, and he was fighting for the win. He would have enjoyed it, I'm sure. I've not seen someone do a move or a lunge into turn 6 like he was doing. So he was flying out there, and I think that's a good sign for where RedBull could go in the next few races.
Yeah, there really was some great racing today, wasn't there? Ant is at the Sky Pad to analyse it.
Yeah, thanks, Nat. So let's take a look at this epic battle. It started on lap 11 between the two world champions. It was great to watch. And Max on the attack, Lewis Hamilton on the defensive with a faster Red Bull coming up behind him. But Max has always been a bit of a beast around this track, hasn't he? And the tyre management as well has always been on his side. So down towards the hairpin, you could see actually, by the way, the flashing rain light or rear light of the Ferrari in front. And so Max would know that that means that the Ferrari in front is super clipping. So it means that the electric motor is grabbing on to the ICE, the internal combustion engine, and slowing him down. So he sees that flashing and thinks about going down the inside, and he does. He tries to run Lewis right out wide on the exit, and he's through. A job well done. Lewis gets a bad exit from that because of it, but then on the run down towards turn 4, Max is looking in the mirrors, and here comes Lewis on the outside and blasts past, probably because of the extra energy that Max has used down towards turn 3. So Lewis returns the favour down towards turn 4. They both lock up, they both run wide, but Max is able to hook it up a little bit tighter and has just enough room here on the inside to carry on that extra momentum. Lewis looking on the right-hand mirror, and it's a race towards turn 6 now. And this is where Lewis, I think, drives perfectly well. He is struggling for grip as well. You see him seesawing at the wheel, but perfectly judged by just running Max out, giving him just enough space. And Max, you can see actually the left front tyre just within track limits on that white line, that wider white line. Actually, yeah, just a little bit over it there because he's had to go onto the gravel. So you could argue at this point, has he been pushed off the circuit? I'm sure the Max fans would be saying yes, but this, I thought, was great racing between the two of them. Max carries on, I think, the second time around turn 7 when he tries to accelerate faster through the corner. I think that was never going to work, because the natural line is to run right out very early onto the curb. So he had to back out of it. I'll just replay the whole thing actually at full speed so you can appreciate what's going on here. But yeah, seeing when I stopped it that Max is actually off the track, I'd like to see how the stewards would look at that one. So yeah, he's got a significant part of his car alongside, but here the move isn't on, and he knows that, and he has to back out of it because look where Lewis goes. So that was, I thought, great racing between the two. They know what each other's going to hand out, don't they? That's what I love about it. And
I think you might just get your wish, Anthony. Rejoined by Karun and still with Jamie. Karun, you must have loved that racing as well.
It was fantastic. It was, high quality stuff. It was on the edge, but I think it actually made me think back to 2021 and that iconic season-long battle they had. And a lot of times it felt over the edge. It felt it got a bit too ugly and things were a bit messy. That was really high-quality stuff. They gave each other just enough room to survive. It was brilliant to watch.
Difficult day, though, ultimately for Ferrari, with Lewis finishing in 5th and his teammate down in 8th. Do you think it came as a surprise to them they didn't have more straight-line speed today?
Straight line speed, they rolled the dice with the strategy. Didn't really work out for them. I think Lewis going onto the soft tyre under the virtual safety car, you would have expected him to make more progress than he did, and he wasn't really able to. I think the straight line speed makes a big impact on that because you can't physically pass so easily, so then you get stuck behind cars and actually you can't make the difference with the fresher tyres. So I think just a few issues compounded. But the start of the race, in the first sort of stint, Lewis was right there. He was pushing George at one point. So I was a bit surprised to see them drop away as much as they did. I think they'll know a lot more they were talking about overheating issues and things like this, and I think that's what really kind of set them back.
Bringing it back to Max, though, great to see a spring back in his step. I mean, they say a week's a long time in politics, even longer in Formula One. It's crazy to think just how competitive he was today when we were wondering coming into the weekend whether any of these upgrades were going to work.
Yeah, on Friday they looked a little bit lost. They looked like they hadn't yet understood the upgrades. But Max was superb in qualifying yesterday. And I think there's a couple of what-ifs for me out of Max Verstappen's race. A, what if he didn't crash and completed that final lap without any damage? He would have probably started third on the grid. I think he would have challenged for the victory much more. B, what if they did something different in that final stint? Because in the end, they ended up doing the same strategy as George Russell, despite having more tyres available. So I wonder, for me, if they had extended that final stint by those 6 laps, then put the medium tyre on, or maybe pit earlier. And just maybe I think they took the pressure away from George. He had ramped it down to 1.2 seconds. He was on his gearbox, piling the pressure onto George, and then gave him that reprieve by extending that stint, and the gap went to 10.5. It allowed George to get the tyres and the battery and everything in a happy phase for the last race. Max still came close, but for me, there's a couple of what-ifs in that, because I think he could have got him there.
The fact that we're talking about him contesting a victory is progress indeed, when you consider the best result until today was third in Canada. That was his only podium so far this season until today. OK, let's hear from his teammate now, Isaac Hadjar.
Well, a big sigh from you, Isaac, at the end of that. I mean, it's looked like a physically grueling race. Ultimately, solid 6th place. Is that how you view it?
That was my prediction back in the office with the guys, starting from 8th, I think. You want to do an aggressive race and pit early. It's not it's not the fastest race all around, but it's the most efficient to gain positions, and we succeeded in that. Obviously, starting 8th is just not good enough to be clearing up the McLarens, the Ferraris.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a little bit more straightforward for Max, even just those few places ahead of you starting. Yeah. But the power unit looked decent around here. The car upgrades seem to have made a difference. Is it a significant weekend for the team? Do you sense this?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best race pace we've had since the start of the year. Clearly, today we are the 2nd fastest car, so finishing 4th would have been ideal, but we didn't. And now I'm quite happy with the overall pace, but the feeling in the car is still lacking. I couldn't put the car in the right window the whole weekend, and still like that we're fast. So it's good and bad news.
Thanks, Isaac.
Well, Craig doing his best to put a smile back on Hadjar's face, because there's a lot to be positive about here. And, really encouraging signs. I know that he would have preferred, given the race pace of the car, to be higher up, but still a strong haul of points for Isaac today. Yeah,
I think so. He's had a difficult weekend. They had some issues with the car early on in going back to Friday. And there's a bit of a knock-on effect to that. He, in qualifying, didn't quite get the clean run as good as Max did. I think it didn't feel like he had that same confidence. Ended up 8th on the grid. So I can see why he's a little bit downbeat about it. But actually, there's a lot of encouragement, as you say, because the car was competitive. And I think Silverstone, high-speed circuit, if they've got the aero package working well, I'll tell you what, you want that. You want that warm, cuddly downforce, like your favourite teddy bear when you get to a high-speed track like Silverstone.
And presumably, when you know about your pace, you want to get racing again straight away, particularly at a track like Silverstone.
Exactly, it's a driver's favourite, so that's one they're all going to look forward to anyway. I think it's a power-sensitive circuit, though, and I think what we've got with the new regulations, it's going to be a bit of a different challenge to what it might have been previously. So that's going to be interesting to see how RedBull, we know they've got a strong ICE, so I think that's something that they can be positive about. And I think Max is going to have the bit between his teeth, as always.
OK, what about Kimi Antonelli's race? He pushed hard, but didn't have some of the luck that he enjoyed earlier in the season.
Well, Kimi, you only finished a couple of seconds down. You could have had a bit of luck with the virtual safety car, but not quite. I don't know. How do you assess your performance today? Maybe the opening lap. Could you have been a little bit tidier there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I started the race and did a lot of mistakes. I was struggling with the brakes. I had a split with the brakes, and I was just struggling to attack braking. And then I really struggled at first stint, did a lot of mistakes, but then second stint I kind of reset, and then third stint was really strong. But just arrived to the park a bit too late.
Yeah. Listen, George gains some points on you. You'd be aware that there would be races this season where that happens. He's a consistent.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I knew that starting from P4 would have been difficult, and then of course the first laps were really bad, and I was like, just a bit all over the place. But then I kind of made my way back slowly, but still, I think was there will be for sure weekends where he's gonna be in front, and weekends where I will be in front. So I think he's very strong. He's very complete, and especially in qualifying, he still has that little bit of edge, especially at the end, to squeeze a bit more performance. But I think this weekend was good learning for me, especially after starting so strong the weekend. I kind of lose a little bit my rhythm. Probably, I don't know, maybe I relaxed a bit too much, or I was too confident. But for sure was good learning, and now we'll be back stronger in Silverstone.
It was good watching you.
Thank you.
Well, every day is a school day, and interestingly, that is the first time he's finished third in a Grand Prix this season, but he has had his lead reduced in the championship for the second consecutive race. What do you make of this luck, bad luck, rubber the green?
I stand by what I said in commentary and what Anthony was saying there, the Skypad. I think it was an equal race. I don't think you can say he was unlucky, because at the end of the day, he had the same luck or no luck as everybody, or lack of, as everybody else. If he had gone a lap or two longer and gotten the VSC benefit of the pit stop, then you say he got lucky. But I don't think you can say he was unlucky there. I think ultimately you rewind it all, and it comes back to him not knowing it was a single yellow flag in qualifying. George Russell knowing that, qualifying on pole, Antonelli being stuck behind the Ferraris, then having a overly aggressive first couple of laps, which cost him track position. It comes back to that moment.
What, you think he was overdriving at the start of the race?
I think he admitted it.
Yeah, and Toto said the same, in fairness.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony showed on the pad there, with, like at turn one, there was no real reason to throw it off. I think he was thinking about the exit and the run to 3. Then he went off at 3. Then he went off again the next lap. So, yeah, for me, it was a little bit of desperation of, I'm faster than these Ferraris. I want to chase George. I want to get past these Ferraris quickly, and it became a bit messy.
I mean, he's still so very young and relatively inexperienced. He won't be making that same mistake again as he did in qualifying yesterday, though, will he?
No, you'd think not. And if you look at his whole season so far, I think we're coming down on him quite hard for one mistake. But it is true; it unravelled his whole weekend. And I think the lap 1 thing was a bit weird, but I think he was just cautious of not turning in and risking someone being there. I think his awareness, because he's still new to Formula One, he's made a few misjudgments previously, and I think the safest and easiest option is if, I've gone in a bit deep, is just to go off the track rather than risk clattering someone. I mean, it was only last year here he took out Max Verstappen in lap 1, so I think maybe that's a little bit of an excuse on his side.
I'm still amazed how Max was very chilled about that, all things considered. And interesting that he talked about rhythm or lack of it this weekend. It's all about getting into a groove, isn't it? OK, join us after the break where we'll talk more about Ferrari.
Lewis, it looked like we were in set for a good day, a great start, great pass on Charles. Ultimately, the Ferrari did not seem to agree with those hard tyres.
I didn't agree with any of the tyres today. No, very, very hard race. I tell you, it was a really, really tough race. One being extremely hot. So, I had my start wasn't really very good, to be honest. My getaway was poor, but then I was on the attack. Obviously got past Charles, and I thought it wasn't looking too bad in the first few laps. With George, I was kind of holding on for a second, and then the rears just dropped off on every set. For some reason, the balance was very open, very difficult. And I think on Friday we were down 0.6 just in straight line speed. And I have to go and see what the case was today, but I'm sure it was not insignificant. But also just grip-wise, we just couldn't keep up with everyone today. So very tough one, but I'm grateful for the points. The team did a great job with the strategy and with the pit stops. The boys worked so hard on the pit stops, so really proud of them. And yeah, not the result we wanted, but we got 2 points at least.
Coming off a recent win, there's a lot of excitement to see you at Silverstone again, and we hope you can challenge. Is it just that power that's still the concern? The team has highlighted the deficit you maybe have to Red Bull and Mercedes, that maybe you need another upgrade at some point in the year if you're to really challenge.
Yeah, we're going to have to push really, really hard to see when we can get the next power upgrade, but yeah, when you're around these guys, it's just it's deployment. It doesn't necessarily feel so much as power, because when you come out of the corner, it feels like you've got the grunt, but it's just deployment at the end. Our tails off, and particularly Mercedes, they just keep going. So we've got to look at why and how we can improve that, but that's not going to come for a while.
But you'll be fired up for next week finally.
Of course, love Silverstone and lots of straights, unfortunately, but hopefully the car will be in a bit of a nicer place there.
Thank you. Well, Charles, yesterday felt like quite a big step forward. Was today a bit of a step back?
Yeah, it's fair to say that. I mean, it was pretty bad today. I went into a setup direction yesterday that was a bit more similar to where I felt good last year, but then this year it was never working. The rear was never there. I was just sliding around, overheating a lot the rear tires, so it was very tricky.
Yeah, I don't know if losing position to Lewis early on made that much of a difference, but when you assess the lie of the land now with Red Bull making a significant step and McLaren still there or thereabouts, where does Ferrari stand heading towards the end of this first part of the season?
It's very difficult to understand. I think nobody is really understanding the difference of performance from one weekend to the other. I think last weekend in Barcelona we probably were one of the strongest cars on the Sunday. We brought some upgrades that worked. I don't think it's all down to the upgrade this weekend. I think it's just these cars are very, very sensitive to wherever you place them, and as soon as you are not in the right place with the setup, you pay the price a lot. And today was a very good example of that.
Thank you.
So, Frédéric, tell us what the differences were between winning in Barcelona and struggling a bit today.
I think we are all on the edge in this situation. If you don't have the pace, you over-push, you take some risk on the strategy, and when it's not paying off, you have to do the addition of the deficit, and you pay the bill at the end. That it's what's happened today for us. We didn't have the pace to fight with the Mercedes and Max, and we over-pushed the first couple of laps. We had to change the strategy, and everything went in the wrong direction, but it's a good lesson.
Okay. And they fought well, the drivers. Lewis fought well with Max as well. Did Charles just struggle on a particular set? It seemed, was it the second or third? So it was the second set that he just struggled on.
I don't remember the set.
I think you remember the radio message. He wasn't happy with you.
Oh, yeah, he was overheating, and depending on where you are on track, that and in the fight, that you have to take more or less care of the drivers. I think the target was to be in clean air today, a bit like last week in Barcelona, and it paid off for Lewis last week because we were able to do 80% of the race in clean air, and this weekend it was not the case at all. That means that. Let's try to understand exactly what's happened all the weekend. That we are also paying the price of a poor Friday, that we didn't do long stint or not enough.
Okay.
Point taken.
All right. Thank you very much, Steven Silverstone. It might not be quite as hot in the British summer. You never know.
The British summer was yesterday, no? And then it's over.
We had a few days. Thank you.
Oh, how we love to talk about the weather. Difficult day for Charles Leclerc, only 4 points from the last 3 Grand Prix. To start on the front row and ultimately finish 8th is a bad day at the office.
Yeah, miserable, and he just looks a bit lost to me, I think, which is even worse, because in Spain, okay, there were reasons why he wasn't at the front. He crashed in qualifying, but the car was fast, and here he just struggled on the hard tyre. They both really struggled on the hard tyre, but he just had nothing to defend with, nothing to attack with, and just sort of drove around, did an extra freebie stop. But they've got a lot of head scratching to do after this weekend, especially on his side of the garage.
And had to cope with a bit of front wing damage to boot. Difficult, because do you think yesterday's qualifying performance was almost gave them false hope?
Maybe, I don't want to say false hope, because the gap, like I say, if Mercedes had finished their laps, the gap would have still been quite significant. But I think that's something we're seeing as a trend this year, is to do a lap in qualifying and put a lap together and get the most out of the tyre in that window versus ultimate race pace are two very different things. And race pace now can really fall off a cliff. If you haven't got the tyres in the right window, if you're not using the deployment correctly in the traffic and, racing other people, then you can really lose so much race time. And so that's what I think we've seen with Charles quite a few times this year. George, we've also seen it with previously. Even today a little bit. The difference in a little bit of pace here and there ends up being a huge amount. And I think that's something we're just growing to see of this season.
Okay, how good does it feel, by the way, to have some cloud cover?
I'm delighted.
So nice.
Absolutely delighted.
It's the first time, actually, all weekend.
Well, Oscar, that felt like a pretty solid performance today. You're pretty satisfied with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the most I could have done. We didn't have the pace to do anything more to match Mercedes or Max, and to beat both Ferraris was a really good day. So, no, very happy with that.
How significant was the opening lap and the moves you made there?
Reasonable. I mean, I think in terms of getting the pit priority I wanted, it's always the benefit of being the first car on the road for the team. I think the team did a good job on strategy, not blinking too early, not letting anything slide. So, I think the pace after that was just strong and was able to get ahead of Charles.
Thank you. Thanks. Could you have better optimised that strategy?
I don't think so. I think obviously Oscar had to cover Hajar in the beginning of the race, and I lost out to both cars in one car, Hajar, in that situation. So it was just very difficult to follow and overtake, and a lot of it was done in strategy today. But I also just didn't have the best lap one. My start was very strong, but after was just a bit more of a struggle. So a couple of times chose the wrong place to put the car and lost out because of it. So a little bit unfortunate otherwise, but I think it was still a good race. Just we did a good job to beat Oscar to beat two Ferraris, me to beat one of the Ferraris, but lost out to one Red Bull. So I think not a bad day in the office.
Yeah, I mean, looks like Red Bull have made that significant step, at least with Max. Obviously, the Mercedes is still going well. Where do you sense McLaren are? Obviously, a decent day for Oscar today, heading to Silverstone now.
Yeah, I mean, a very different track there, but it's tough. I mean, it's so clear how much we struggle in certain areas. So I think we're always a little bit surprised to come out quite strong on a Sunday like we did today and like we did in Barcelona. So I think we have the same complaints between drivers. Obviously, I maximised last weekend, Oscar maximised this weekend. So it's clearly not an easy car to nail every weekend, but we're making small bits of progress. So that's the main thing.
Thanks, Lando. Sorry.
Well, Andrea, I'm sure McLaren fans could wish that maybe it was their car or your car on the podium today. You were quite far off today. 21 seconds behind Antonelli was Oscar. So maybe you could talk us through if you could.
Well, at the moment, we have to accept that our competitiveness is not such that we can fight for the podium unless there are some situation like the reliability problem for some competitors in Barcelona. We know the mission is very clear. We need to add performance to the car. We have upgrades coming. We need to deliver them, and that's what we are working on. There's some positives. It's the fact that in the race we were in condition to fight with Ferrari. We finished ahead of Ferrari. We capitalized on the car interacting well with the tires. On the fact that I think our pit wall operated well from a strategy point of view, remaining patient without going too early in the first stop. Oscar driving very well. We invested in understanding a few things after Barcelona, and Oscar delivered that. So definitely positives, but the mission remains to make the MCL40 faster.
Okay, yes, and just finally, I will reflect on that. It seems like Oscar's little mini slump has ended, but then on the contrast, Lando had a very disappointing Grand Prix. What were the main issues for him?
Well, Lando lost position of the start. I think that put him a little bit on the back foot. But at the same time, we have to say that he was missing a few tenths of a second. We will review like we did with Oscar after Barcelona. And normally, if we do a good job, this will give us back this performance that we need when the competition is so close. We saw today with Adjar, it was a matter of a few seconds. Ferrari, they were not far. So while we make the car faster, in the meantime, we need to make sure we maximize what we have.
Well, thank you very much. It's the British Grand Prix next. Of course, Lando won that last year. This will be the first time he comes back to Silverstone as the reigning world champion, with 20,000 of his fans in the Lando stand as well. I'm sure you'll want to give them a better show in Silverstone.
Well, it was great winning Silverstone last year. It was great that we achieved these championships, both in constructors and the driver. It means that we go to Silverstone as champions. But you know, Formula One, you need to look at the present, and we look forward. And at the present, we go realistically, in condition to hopefully fight for podiums, but the victory will be difficult. And definitely there's a strong undertaking to make sure that our fans will be soon in condition to celebrate victory together with us. We appreciate very much their support. It's never missing. Hopefully we will be soon able to reward them.
Thank you very much.
He's always incredibly positive. I love chatting to him because he gives you great detail, but there's no escaping the fact that one of his drivers was 21 seconds off the win, and his other, who won here last year, 31 behind.
Yeah, absolutely that. I think Lando spoke well there. You know, they fundamentally, you know, his race was compromised early on with the strategy. Oscar executed well. I think race operations here at the track, they maximized it for Oscar. You know, Lando's race was compromised. Ultimately, the pressure's back on the factory to deliver the upgrades, to deliver performance. And as Andrea Stella said there, it's all about making that car faster. They don't exist in this sport to finish 4th, 5th, do they? They're double reigning world champions, constructors. So they exist in the sport to win. They want more performance. They haven't got it yet.
Well, Ted's right. If anything's going to lift Lando's spirits, it is the home crowd at Silverstone. I can't help but feel that Lando was pretty downbeat in that interview. But just a few days till we go racing again, and how much of a difference will it be to race on your home soil?
It's such a special feeling. And for Lando especially, he's coming off the back of last year, which would have been... Actually, it goes into last year knowing he had a chance of winning Silverstone. This year, I don't know if he'll go in quite as confident given their recent form, but still, he's got the Lando stand there, as Ted alluded to. I was at Silverstone not long ago, and it is impressive, you know, what he's put together. And it's special for all the British drivers. I think we're talking about it before, that if we see the podium that we saw last weekend, next weekend, how great that's going to be for British motorsport, and there's no reason why that can't happen.
Can you only imagine? Okay, time to take a quick break now, after which...
Well, Liam, it's a 9th and 10th for the team. I mean, you're still at the head of the midfield. Didn't see too much of your race, but were you always fairly confident you could hold those positions?
Probably after the first stint, we knew that we had good speed compared to the other guys in the midfield. So, yeah, I think we knew we were on for a decent race. And to be honest, I think our pace got better through the race as well compared to others. So pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly showed good pace as the race moved on. Listen, there's a lot of talk about the lineup. You guys seem to be sparking off each other pretty well as a duo right now. Is that fair to say?
Pretty warm, yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's been working well so far, but a long season to go. So at the moment, we're in a good groove, and I'm very happy. Just trying to keep the momentum rolling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Arvid, it's another double points finish, 3 consecutive points finishes for you. Grueling race out there, but a solid one from your perspective.
Yeah, it was good. I got stuck in. I gave it a good go. I got ahead of Liam at the start of the second stint and was ahead of him the whole of the second stint. Then the team boxed him a lap earlier than me, so he came out ahead just because of the newer tyres, which I kind of saw coming, to be honest. Fine, is what it is. I don't think there was much more I could have done on that side, but regardless, I think for myself it was a positive race. I think there's a few things to work on. I wasn't super happy with my driving, with the overall pace. I think there's things I can manage better. There's still quite a few things to learn. But I think regardless, it's been a positive weekend. The team, again, have given us a really strong package, like you said, double points. So looking forward to Silverstone now.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that. I mean, and the car, there's elements of the last 2 circuits that maybe bode well for Silverstone too. How good is it for you to be going there with the little run you've had? Because it's a special event for you, what's coming up.
Yeah, it will be special. It's going to be a special moment for me. My first home race. I've always dreamed of get racing in Formula One. In the very early days when I sort of found my love for the sport, I went to the British Grand Prix. I still remember that day very well in 2013. It was my first F1 race I went to, so to be going there 13 years later as a Formula One driver will be very special. And yeah, like you said, to be going there with a car that's competitive, fighting for something, is very cool. So, big credit to the team. They have done an amazing job over the past few races to keep bringing upgrades, to keep bringing performance to the car. And we've got good stuff coming. So, yeah, we'll keep chipping away.
Well done, you.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations to them. The third consecutive race that they've had both Racing Bulls in the points. What do you put this run of form down to?
I think what Arvid just ended his answer with there. They keep bringing upgrades. They really, over the years, we've seen focus on delivering a car that's user-friendly, should we call it. So it's got a wider range, a wider envelope. So it may not have the peak performance of the top cars, but it's a more drivable car. And for rookie drivers like Arvid, that gives him confidence. And, both of them have done a great job this weekend. Lawson, a great run. I think points in 5 out of the last 6 weekends. It's a fantastic run they're on.
Yeah, you're right. We've said this actually about the Racing Bulls before, that they're drivable cars, which presumably for a rookie is a great way to cut your teeth at all these new circuits you're going to.
Definitely. I think there's a bit that's assumed in that because we've seen so many rookies that get in it and are able to deliver consistent results, and that in contrast to, when Liam, for example, was at Red Bull, how difficult a knife edge that car could be. But I still want to see Max drive that car just to see where it would end up, because I'm not discrediting the two, Liam and Arvid, because I'm sure they're getting as much as you can get out of that car. But it's a bit of an unknown still how good that car actually is, because they do often run rookies. But yeah, credit to them. They're always able to kind of pick up the pieces, and they've got two drivers working really well together. I think they've got a really nice sort of balance of, the pressure is about the right amount for those two drivers, which I think allows them to thrive, which is important.
Well, given that Max just loves to drive anything, can't you have a word, Corinne?
I said it, about 17 times in the last 2 years, saying when they have to substitute a rookie driver in FP1 in Max's car, he's just sitting in the motorhome. Let him drive the Racing Bulls. He'll give them great feedback. He might learn a few things to take back to the main team. I think I said it, I don't know how many times.
18 now.
Many times.
18 well done,
now.
you. Okay. Should we hear from our race winner now? George is in the pen.
Big congratulations, George. Does it probably feels a while since Melbourne, so this must be very satisfying.
No, it feels great, to be honest. I think more than just the result, it's just, psychologically it's been a tough few races for me, and I've had a huge amount of support, and which has really helped me stay resilient and continue to believe in myself. And I think that is perhaps what I'm most proud about from these last two races. Coming out of Monaco was really not a great weekend for me, performance-wise, luck-wise, everything going against me. And then rocking up in Barcelona, getting the pole here, winning here. That's what I'm really pleased about.
In the gap, we didn't see much of you during the race until the very end. How on top of things did you feel throughout?
I must say I was really impressed and surprised by the pace of Verstappen. He put me under a lot of pressure, which forced me into pitting early. And when I had to do a 28-lap stint on the final one, I was nervous about it, I must say. But I got in a really good groove, and I realised with about 10 laps to go he wasn't going to catch me. And with about 5 to 6 laps to go, I just brought the car home and was taking it slightly easier. So, that was quite surprising. Nevertheless, still feels great to be back on the top step.
And the points gap looks a bit more achievable now. You take another chunk out with Silverstone on the horizon. So, how big a weekend is next weekend for you potentially?
I mean, I can't wait for the weekend because it's the best race weekend of the year. But once the helmet's on for me, it's just another race. I'm not going to put any additional pressure on myself. I'm not going to be too relaxed either. That's just the mentality I want and I need to have. Also, because Silverstone's not been too kind to me in my F1 career, and perhaps I wasn't treating it enough like a normal weekend because it's so difficult to, because it's such an amazing weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And he was glugging away there because he did the whole race without any drink. I mean, that's impressive. You were complaining about being hot.
Yeah.
And now he's going to rehydrate with champagne.
And very, very well-deserved champagne as well. So, yeah, I mean, as you're saying, the psychological weight seems to have lifted with George. He looks lighter, Jamie, doesn't he? I mean, you know him really well. There's a smile, there's a lightness in the way he was speaking there.
Definitely, and he's someone that analyses everything, takes a lot of the details of things. He's definitely got enough hydration there now. He's going to smell on the flight home, that's for sure. Yeah. But I feel like, this confidence is important for him, because when you're overthinking everything, or not even overthinking, you're thinking everything, and as Toto has said, just drive. Don't think too much. Just drive, just enjoy it. Don't let yourself kind of go into the details. And the power of that seems to be what has worked this weekend for George.
It's interesting champagne technique from Toto there. Not seen that before. Over the head.
That's the first time he's done that. Very impressive.
Yeah, listen. You know what? My brain is all into next weekend. I'm just thinking of the atmosphere we're going to have. Toto, maybe he'll be there spraying the champagne with George for a home win next weekend.
Well, I tell you what, self-belief is everything. He talked about it then. How difficult is it to get it back, and how easy or otherwise is it to hang on to?
I think it's really hard to get it back. He's worked extremely hard after difficult weekends, particularly in Miami, Monaco, but he's got it back. He did that pole in Barcelona, didn't work out for him in the race. This weekend, he did it. Pole and the win. I
tell you what, it's been a great weekend. Your highlight?
Watching George win that race. I'm really happy for him.
Seeing Max come so strong at a track he knows so well. So, yeah, RedBull are back, I think.
Well, it's fantastic to have both your company, and thank you for your company at home too. Not long now until the British Grand Prix. Until then, bye-bye. Have a great week, and we'll see you at Silverstone. Bye-bye.